I remember my biggest critic. I mean, he always had something to say, no matter what I did, no matter how positive I was. He was always saying, "Oh, you can't do this," or "You're not good enough. You don't have enough money." And one day I approached him, and I was just like, "Hey man, what's your deal? Why you always sweating me? Why you always hating on me?" And he just looked at me and was like, "Nobody hating on you." He said, "I'm just doing what I was hired to do." And so I kind of chuckled like, okay, because I'm just a regular person. I'm not somebody who's on somebody's radar enough where they hire somebody to hate on me. And so I kind of laughed. I said, "Well, who hired you?" He said, "You hired me." I said, "What?" He said, "You hired me. You hired me to protect you from embarrassment. You hired me to protect you from looking foolish. You hired me to guard you from making mistakes." You see, my biggest critic was not some outside enemy. My biggest critic was my inner me. Walk with me. And who am I? I'm Billy Miller, the motivational minister, and they call me the motivational minister because I help people to improve their lives by teaching them life skills from the Bible. And today I'm going to teach us a powerful message with you. I'm going to teach you 5 ways, 5 simple steps, 5 simple things that you can do to silence this inner critic. And you most definitely want to hear 4 and 5. So lock in and listen. Just like I have an inner critic, guess what? You have an inner critic too. As a matter of fact, let me put a definition on the screen of what do I mean by inner critic. Take a screenshot of this. An inner critic is a harsh, judgmental internal voice or a subpersonality that demeans a person by fostering feelings of inadequacy, guilt, or worthlessness. And guess what? It doesn't always necessarily mean it's coming from the devil. Now, the devil will play or tag in on this inner critic. What I'm talking about is this voice inside of you that's whispering to you, telling you not that you're not good enough. It's that internal part of you that's really trying to protect you from being looking foolish and making mistakes and embarrassment. All right, so we're about to get into it. And I'm not gonna hold you long. Let's see. Let's get to step number one. What's the first thing we need to do? And before we even get to step number one, let me tell you what happens. I'm gonna teach you these 5 simple steps, and if you don't learn these 5 simple steps, what happens is you're going to listen to this internal voice, and it's going to motivate you, or not even motivate you. It's going to cause you. It's going to demotivate you. It's going to cause you to want to give up. It's going to cause you to never want to step out, and eventually you're going to get frustrated and you're going to quit. But listen, you can't quit now. And thank you for being here because this video is going to bless you. But I also want to bless you with a free gift, and it's a book that I wrote called "You Can't Quit Now." This is just my free resource for you that's going to help you to stay consistent, to remain consistent. It's going to help you with silencing this internal critic that you have, and it's going to motivate you to never ever give up. Listen, if you would like a free download of this, it's free, no cost to you, but it's going to help you be free. See, it's free, but it's going to set you free. Listen, if you would like to download this, just go to whateverdevil.com or look in the link in the description of this video, and it'll give you the direct link to the direct download. But listen, we're going to silence this inner critic today, and we're going to start with step number one. What's the first thing you need to do? The first thing you need to do to silence this inner critic is you need to give it a name. You need to give it a name. See, when you give this inner critic a name, it externalizes it. See, when you're listening to yourself, you're thinking it's yourself talking. And so you're either going to wind up believing it or not trusting yourself. But you need to make a distinction between you and this inner critic. And the best way to do that is by giving it a name. Let me put this on the screen. Take a screenshot of this. Naming it separates it and creates distance. It separates it and creates distance. So give it a name. And I want you to give it a name, and listen, give it a funny name. Give it a name that you kind of laugh at. And as a matter of fact, once you come up with that name, you don't have to do it now, but once you think about it and come up with that name, I want you to come back to this video and share that name in the comment section. I encourage you to give it a funny name. So like if you're a girl, I would say call it Lil Keisha. No offense if your name Keisha now. But if you're a boy, if you're a man, call it Lil Bobby Ray or Ned or if also Doug, Earl. Give it a funny name that you would know exactly who that is. So say for example, God put on your heart to write a book. Well, this voice is gonna come and say, you don't know nothing about writing a book. How you gonna write a book? You're not qualified. You've never written a book before, right? And so before you start entertaining those thoughts, once you give it a name, now you can externalize it. Now you can say, oh, wait a minute. That's just little Keisha speaking. That's just little Daryl speaking. You follow what I'm saying? And so when you give it a name, it's going to externalize it. It's going to separate it. It's going to set it apart. And now that we do that, we clear on some things. That's one way of silencing the critic, by recognizing the difference between you and your inner critic. And the second thing you want to do, the second step is you want to arrest the thoughts. You want to arrest the thoughts. Just like when somebody commits a crime, they're going to get arrested for that crime, right? Because they're doing something that they don't want to do. If someone broke into your house, they don't belong there. And so if you call the law, if they survive you, but if you call the law, the police are going to come and they're going to arrest them because they wasn't supposed to be there. Well, likewise, these inner thoughts, these self-defeating thoughts that's entering into your brain, you're going to have to arrest them. You're going to have to arrest them. That's why it's important that you get into the word. That's why it's important to learn who you are in Christ and whose you are. Who are you as the righteousness of God? This is going to help you because now you're going to, once you know who you are, it's going to help you to differentiate these thoughts. So when little Keisha be telling you these little thoughts, your inner critic, whatever you call it, is telling you these thoughts, you're going to say, hey, wait, this doesn't match up with the word. And so what you're going to do is you're going to arrest it. So let me show you where I got this thought from. This came from the scripture here. I'm gonna put it on the screen. You highlight it. I mean, I'm talking about highlight it. You just take a screenshot of it. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5. This is the worldwide English translation. It says, we can break down what people think and every big idea that tries to stop people from knowing God. That's including other people's thoughts. That's including your thoughts. And that's what we're talking about, this inner critic, right? And we can make every thought, didn't say some thoughts, it didn't say most thoughts. It said, and we can make every thought a prisoner to obey Christ. So, for example, go back to that example again, God put on your heart to write a book. These thoughts are going to come and say, hey, you can't do that. Maybe you want to start a business. These thoughts are going to come and say, hey, you don't have enough money to start a business. Maybe you have a certain weight that you're trying to get to, and these thoughts going to come and say, oh man, you got to know how much weight you got to lose to get to that goal. You have all these thoughts come, and so you're going to arrest those thoughts. You're going to capture those thoughts, and you're going to bring it to Christ. How do you bring it to Christ? Well, Jesus is the word. And so you're going to bring it to the word and say, hey, this thought came to my head. Does this line up with what I'm seeing in here? You got it? If that's making sense, hit that like button. Let me know it's making sense to you. And so you're going to arrest those thoughts, bring it to the obedience of Christ. If it doesn't line up, it doesn't belong there, then hey, this is what you're doing, because now you're going to have to fill your mind with the proper word. Like I said, once again, that's why you got to know your word. You got to have to study the word, which leads to number 3. The third step of silencing this inner critic is speak the word. You're going to have to speak the word. Well, guess what? If you don't know the word, you don't know what to speak it. There's one scripture that says, we believe and therefore we speak. And that word therefore means for that reason. It says, we believe, talk about the word, therefore, or for that reason, we speak. Well, if you don't know what that word is, you won't believe it and you won't speak it. You're only going to speak what you believe, and you're only going to believe what you know. And so you're going to have to get into this word. Learn who you are. What does God say about you? How you supposed to live? And so when those opposing thoughts come, you're going to recognize, first of all, I know who that is. That's from that inner critic, that name you gave it. Second of all, I'm going to arrest that thought, bring it to the word. It doesn't match. And now you're going to speak the word. You're going to speak the word. And so let me give you this example right here. I want you to count the 10 in your mind, not out loud. I want you in your mind. I want you to count the 10. Okay, you ready? All right. On your mark, get set, go. Now say your name real quick. So what happened when you said your name? It interrupted your thought. So speaking the word interrupts that negative thought. And see what happens is most people try to defeat negative thoughts with positive thoughts, and it doesn't work. And you wrestling in your mind, trying to wrestle your thoughts, and you just mixing dirt with the water, with the clean water. Are you understanding? So when those thoughts come into your head, you're going to have to interrupt those thoughts by speaking the word. Speaking the word. Oh man, I hope you're getting some out of this. I hope you're getting some out of this. All right. So let's keep going. Like I said, I'm not gonna hold you long. Let's keep going. Let's get to step number 4. Is you're gonna have to reframe the questions. You're going to have to reframe the questions. See, a lot of times we ask the wrong questions. We ask self-defeating questions. You're always asking how. God put on your heart to write a book. How am I going to write a book? How am I going to start a business? How am I going to lose the weight? How? And so it's a lady named Tawana Williams told me a long time ago. She said that how is none of your business. That's God's business. You need to find out why. So take a screenshot of this. Stop asking how and start asking why. Stop asking how and start asking why. Yeah, take a screenshot of this right here. I'm just putting some notes on the screen. It says, stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And start asking, what will life be like when it works? See, we'll ask that. And listen, I'm guilty of it too. What if it doesn't work? You on your job and they're offering a new position and they say, hey, what if I get it and I fail? What if nobody likes me once I get this position? Hey, I'm guilty of that. I can't tell you how many positions I've turned down because I kept asking, what if it doesn't work? How about ask yourself, what's life going to look like once it works? How will that change my life if I accept the position? What would my life look like once I write the book? What would my life look like once I start the business? What would my life look like once I lose the weight? Are you getting it? So stop asking. Well, I have a, a series I did once called the question words. Question words. Check that playlist out when you get a chance. I'll put it up here or link it in the description of this video. It's worth watching. I'm still working on it. I haven't even completed it. But in school we had all these question words. What, when, who, right? So I'm doing a video for each of those words. There's the why question, there's the who question. You got it? But the one video that I didn't do or I'm not going to do is the how question. Why? Because the how is none of your business. Of course, God is going to eventually show you some steps. You're going to need to know something, but you're so focused on the how and not asking the why. And there's 4 why questions that you need to ask. 4 why questions. So get ready for this because this is good. The first question you need to ask, of course, is why? Why? Quit asking yourself, how am I write the book? And ask yourself, why do you want to write the book? Why do you want to write the book? Why do you want to start the business? Why do you want to lose the weight? I hope you're writing this down. That's the first. You got 4 why. First is why. My friend Cornelius always say, what's the why that makes you cry? What's the purpose? What's your intended purpose? Because this is going to help rejuvenate. This is going to help build something up in you versus asking a how question is only going to make you get overwhelmed and because you don't know how. And you're going to just say, you know what, I can't do this. This is too much. But start asking yourself, why? Why do you want to start a YouTube channel? Don't worry about how. First answer the question, why do you want to start a YouTube channel? Got it? Why do you want a spouse? Got it? All right. And then the next question you're going to have to ask yourself after you ask yourself why, once you answer that question, won't you answer this question? Why not? Why not start the business? Why not write the book? Why not lose the weight? And see, we've been making excuses after excuse after excuse. And you're getting loaded with excuses because the inner critic, your inner critic is steady pouring it on, trying to protect you. Your inner critic wants you to stay in this comfort zone. And you want to stay in that comfort zone because it's the so-called safe place. Let me tell you something. This so-called safe place is a dangerous place to be. Chew on that for a minute. All right. And after you ask yourself, why not? Let me ask you another question. Why not you? Why not you? I mean, you know that people write books. You know this. Why can't you write a book? You know that people have businesses. You know people who have successful businesses. Let me ask you a question. Why not you? You know people who have actually lost the weight. Why not you? How many people you seen with YouTube channels? Why not you? And the last why question you need to ask is why not now? Why not now? You've been procrastinating long enough. And the reason you've been procrastinating is because you've been listening to that inner critic. But today we're silencing that inner critic. Listen, why not now? And if you struggle with procrastination, which many of us do, and I still do in some areas, but if you struggle with procrastination, you're going to have to deal with it. Look, I'm going to put one of my quotes on the screen. You take a screenshot of this. Don't wait until tomorrow to deal with your procrastination. I like to play on words. Take a screenshot of that. Don't wait until tomorrow to deal with your procrastination. You keep saying, I'm going to wait till tomorrow. You said that yesterday. Today is the day. Today is the tomorrow that you was talking about yesterday, that you said you was going to start. Anyway, I got a video coming on that too. But, and when I get it out, I'll link it up in the description of this video or put it up here. You're going to have to start taking action. You're going to have to stop procrastinating. Don't wait till tomorrow. Why put off tomorrow what you can do right now, what you can do today? And listen, I got you covered. I have this book here called Whatever Devil We Made It Anyway. I want you to read chapters 2 and chapters 3 of this book. And the reason I want you to read this chapter because it's going to help you, number one, overcome making excuses. That's chapter 2. And that chapter 3 is going to go in depth of what causes procrastination. And it's going to help you see the real reason why people procrastinate. Listen, a lot of people think that they procrastinate because they think procrastination is due to being lazy or due to laziness. Listen, that is a reason. That can be a reason, but it's not the most common reason. It's not the leading cause of procrastination. You need to learn what the leading cause of procrastination is, and I teach you that in this book. Listen, laziness is not the leading cause of procrastination because a lot of people, and you know this yourself, and this may be you, a lot of people, they work hard. They work hard on their job, but they don't work at all on their dream. They give their job overtime, but give their dream no time. The effort, the energy, the tenacity, to get going is not the issue. The issue is other reasons. I go into 4 main reasons in this book, and you want to get it. Listen, this book has impacted a lot of people's lives. You ain't got to take my word for it, but a lot of people's lives have been changed. This is just a few of the people. But I want you to get this book. Go to You can download the ebook, or you can look up at the screen. You can see you can download the ebook, or you can get the paperback copy, and I'll sign it and ship it out to you the next business day. Just go to whateverdevil.com or look in the description of this video. This is the book that everybody's talking about. This book is so radical. And there's other chapters. Listen, you got 10 other chapters on 10 other things that's going to impact you. But just chapter 2 and chapter 3 alone is going to help you to finally rid procrastination out of your life. All right, listen, we got one more step. We got one more step. Stay with me. Come on, stay with me. And before I get to this fifth reason this fifth step, this fifth way that's going to silence your procrastination. Before we do that, listen, if I said anything you like, listen, most definitely like the video. If you like this type of teaching, consider subscribing, hit the subscribe button, but go a step further. Hit the notification bell. That's where it'll notify you when I put out more videos. And most definitely like, comment, and most definitely share this with somebody. If it bless you, listen, don't hold all the blessing to yourself. Share it so it can bless somebody else. All right, let's get to this last step. This last step is you're going to have to build your faith. You're going to have to build your faith. Listen, my favorite definition of faith is right there. Take a screenshot of that. Faith is the reality of seeing yourself doing it. And until you see yourself doing it, you're not in faith. And a lot of times what's blocking your vision is this inner critic telling you that you can't do it. And you're believing that inner critic's voice more than your own. So what do you do if you can't see yourself doing it? First of all, don't beat yourself up. Second of all, it doesn't make you a bad Christian. It just means you lack faith in that area. And that's okay, because we all lack faith in certain areas for certain things. So it's important to build our faith. Just like a weightlifter lifts weights and build his muscle. Listen, don't get discouraged because you can't lift 500 pounds. The person that lifted 500 pounds had to start with 1 pound. He just worked his way up to that level. Well, likewise, you seeing faith giants. You're seeing people walk around dominating in faith. Don't get discouraged because you're not there yet. Start with where you're at and build your faith. Get into the word until you can see yourself doing it. And once you see yourself doing it, that's when your faith is going to be, that's when you're going to be in faith. You know, there's a story in the Bible, you know, God promised the Israelites the promised land, and they went to go spy out the land, right? They sent 12 spies to go up and spy out the land. And 2 people came back, said, oh man, it's a land flowing with milk and honey. You've heard that phrase before. Said, man, they got grapes so big it took 2 men to carry the cluster of grapes. Oh man, that's it. That's the promise over there. But it was 10 people who voted against it, and they said, no, listen, there's giants over there, skilled fighters, giants. And they said, and we look like grasshoppers in their eyes. Let me ask you a question. How do they know how they look in the giants' eyes? The giants didn't tell them they look like grasshoppers. No, it was their inner critic. They saw a task that was so big, and that inner critic said, you're just a grasshopper in their eyes. And listen, it wasn't until they had to deal with that grasshopper mentality. That's what we call it. And listen, you're going to have to deal with that grasshopper mentality too, because if not, you're going to allow that inner critic to tell you that you're just a grasshopper. You're nothing. You're not good enough. You're not equipped enough. You're not qualified. Listen, we're silencing that inner critic today. You're going to do those 5 steps that we just learned, but also you're going to have to deal with this grasshopper mentality. And I got a whole teaching that I break this down. I want you to check it out. And another, and see, we're still on step number 5, build your faith. This is going to help you to build your faith. I want to help you. Number 1, I have this teaching called Don't Miss the Grapes. That's worth watching. If you don't watch any other video, other than, because I'm about to show you some more, but if you don't watch any other video, make sure you watch that one. It's called Don't Miss the Grapes. But I also have a playlist, an online course called 5 Baby Steps to Giant Faith. So we're talking about building that faith. If you want to have giant faith, listen, I got you covered. It's free. I have an online course. It's all for free. And I'm going to put everything I just said up on the screen. I'm going to put Don't Miss the Grapes right here. And I'm going to put that 5 baby steps to giant faith right here. And you watch those videos and I'll see you there. I love you. Stay up, stay blessed. And always remember that the word is your life.